You're live now.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our live master talk on hair care in the current scenario. आप सभी का स्वागत है इस master talk live session में. I'm Deepthi Harwani, your host, and today we shall be talking about hair wellness. Our hair is a crowning glory. It symbolizes our personality and tells people so much about us. Having strong and healthy hair can indeed boost our confidence. So it's very important to protect our hair and keep it looking gorgeous in all seasons and at all times. Today we shall be talking about looking after our hair from the roots to the ends and how we can manage our hair better to keep it looking healthy and shining. And joining us live is Dr. Ashit Gupta. Dr. Ashit Gupta is Medical Director and Chief Hair Transplant Surgeon at Delight Clinics, Gurgaon. He's an MBBS, MS, MCH plastic surgery and has more than 15 years of experience in hair transplant and cosmetic surgery. Dr. Gupta is credited to have performed thousands of successful hair transplant procedures on national and international clients. He has the expertise in giving natural hairline with excellent hair density by using the latest techniques of hair transplant. So welcome so much, Dr. Gupta.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show, and good morning to all the viewers.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for joining us on this live platform, Doctor. So our viewers are really looking forward to this session. वो काफी उत्सुक हैं जानने के लिए hair care के बारे में. So, Doctor, शुरुआत करते हैं. One of the most common concerns facing people today is that of hair loss. This is across all age groups. And coming to hair transplant as a solution. So, Doctor, who is a good candidate for hair transplant?
We can do hair transplant of at any age nowadays. Earlier, the criteria was we used to do from 25 to 65 years of age, but now this criteria has expanded. Any adult, we can do a hair transplant. The prerequisites are basically the medical condition should be fine. There should be no comorbid conditions, and if they are there, they should be optimally controlled before we do the procedure. Secondly, the donor area on the scalp should be adequate to achieve the results. But nowadays, we also have the option of body hair transplant in which we take body hair plus scalp hair to fill the problem areas.
Okay. So thank you so much, Doctor. And Doctor, what is the difference between baldness pattern in men and women? Is hair transplant performed differently for women?
See, the baldness pattern in males and females are totally different. In males, the reason for hair fall is mainly hormonal or the male sex hormone testosterone. In females, it's multifactorial with so many factors coming into play. When we see the male pattern baldness, it typically starts from the front and the crown area. And then the middle area is also gone in later stages. In females, we generally see diffuse thinning, not exactly bald patches. So hair transplant is definitely an option for females also, but it's not the first line of treatment. First, we try to manage with other things like medical treatment, PRP sessions. And if nothing is working or in severe cases, we can definitely go for hair transplant.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. And Doctor, are hair transplants only for the head? Is it possible to transplant hair to the beard, for example, if facial hair are not growing?
Nowadays, we routinely do body hair transplants. In body hair transplants, there are two aspects. The first aspect is taking hair from the body and putting on the head. The second aspect is taking hair from the head and putting on other parts of body, like beard, like eyebrows, even some scars in hair-bearing areas. We can do hair transplants. So definitely we can do transplant for the beard areas when the hair are not growing there.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with our audience, Doctor. And Doctor, which method of hair transplant is considered better and safe? Are there any scars left after the procedure?
We have two basic methods of hair transplant. One is called FUT, the second is called FUE. So FUT is an old method in which we used to give the incisions and remove a strip and then suture the area. So this method is not done nowadays. Some people definitely do it, but majority of surgeons are shifting to the better method of FUE. In FUE, we don't make any incisions. We just take a small punch and pluck out the individual hair roots or follicles. So the FUE method is much better in terms of extent of procedure, the downtime after the procedure, the amount of any complications, as well as the scarring with FUE is very, very minimal. It's almost imperceivable to see the scars in FUE.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, doctor. And doctor, what shape, size, surface texturing, incision site, and placement site are recommended?
When you plan any procedure for hair transplant, we mark the recipient area to be transplanted, plus the donor area from where we take the hair roots are marked, and we plan how much number of hair or grafts we are going to transplant. In FUE, we use very fine punches of 0.8 millimeter or even sometimes 0.7 millimeter to remove the grafts. And then on the recipient area, we use first the slitting thing, in which we make small holes, and then implantation is done. The basic techniques of implantation have improved a lot in last few years. Nowadays, we use no touch technique, in which we don't touch the roots, plus direct implantation, in which as soon as we remove the hair, we put them back into the body, so that the ischemia time outside the body is reduced to a minimum.
Okay. Well, thank you, doctor. And now, doctor, please tell us, how long does the procedure take? And a lot of people would like to know if it is painful.
The timing of the procedure depends on the number of hair we plan to transplant. If the number of hair required to be transplanted is very less, we can finish the procedure in a couple of hours also. But routinely, the time taken is around 4 to 5 hours. This is the standard time for a hair transplant procedure. In body hair transplant, the procedure can be extended up to 6 hours. So this is the standard duration. Regarding the pain part, the hair transplant is practically a painless procedure. The only painful part of the whole procedure is while we're giving the anesthesia. So it is around 2 to 5 minutes thing. And if we grade the pain while giving anesthesia from 0 to 10, majority of our clients say it's something between 3 to 4. It's not that much painful. Also, we do some things to reduce that pain also. Like we use ultra fine needles, we use the method of vibration and cool packs to decrease the pain further. So pain is not an issue when considering a hair transplant. Even after the procedure, there is practically no pain. We give painkillers for 5 days, but most of the people even don't take these painkillers fully because they don't feel any pain to take these painkillers.
Well, I'm sure that is very reassuring for our audience, doctor. Thank you so much. And doctor, how long does it take for the transplanted hair to grow?
Transplanted hair, they take around 6 to 8 months to show the full and final result. The sequence of events after hair transplant is this hair which we transplant, they fall off once in 3 to 4 weeks. Not every hair falls off. Around 60 to 70% hair fall off. And they start regrowing back at 3 months after the procedure, and the final result at 6 to 8 months. After 6 to 8 months, these hair remain permanent and they do not fall off. So that's the beauty of the hair transplant procedure, that it's a permanent procedure, one-time procedure, and lifelong results, more or less.
Absolutely. And doctor, does one need to take medications to sustain the hair transplant?
Yeah, a few medications are recommended after that transplant. Mainly, we use multivitamins plus topical application of minoxidil. So the purpose of this medication is to stimulate the hair in the initial period. As we get the result in 6 to 8 months, these medicines are tapered and stopped in majority of cases. In some people who have ongoing hair loss of the existing hair, we do continue these medicines on a medium to long-term basis, according to patient.
Okay. And doctor, what is the recovery period like? How long is it generally? And what kind of help will the person need during recovery?
See, hair transplant recovery is very excellent. I would say this is the minimum recovery period in all the procedures generally we do. Patient can resume his normal activities maybe after 2 to 3 days after the procedure. In some people, we see they start resume their normal activities even on the next day of the procedure also. So it's not that morbid a procedure that you have to lie down, you don't have to work, you can go to your office, you can do whatever you would do. The only issue is vigorous physical exercise has to be avoided for 10 to 14 days. Otherwise, normal activities are not restricted at all.
Okay.
And any help, no help is required. Patient can independently take care of himself after the procedure. There is nobody required to special for doing any special care of the patient after the.
Okay. And doctor, very important to cover the risks and complications associated with the procedure. So I'm sure our audience would like to know a little bit more about that, please.
See, every procedure has its own risk and complications. So do hair transplant. But the risk profile of this procedure is very minimal. Okay, the main risk involved in the procedure are of two types. One is the anesthesia part, the second is the surgery part. In anesthesia part, there may be a rare case of allergy to the local anesthesia which we use. For that purpose, we generally do testing of anesthesia before we start the procedure. In the surgical part, the main issue may be infection. For control of or avoidance of this infection, proper sterile technique is used. Prophylactic antibiotics are given for 5 days during and after the procedure. And the other issues may be some bleeding or scarring. For avoidance of bleeding, what we do is use ultra fine punches and ultra fine other instrumentation so that the loss is minimal. In FU, otherwise also the loss is very minimal because there is no cutting or suturing. Very fine instruments are used in FUB, and that also avoids the scarring part. So there is no as such too much risk or complication. Secondly, before we take anybody for the procedure, we do routine blood testing to check his medical status. So that if there is any medical issue, any history of any medical disease, or even not pre-diagnosed accidental pickup of anything happens, we first optimize it and then we do the procedure. So these are the things which we do to avoid any risk or complication. Generally, it's a very safe procedure.
Right. And doctor, I'm sure with your expertise and experience of so many years, I'm sure that even if there are any complications, they are pretty well managed.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Right. And doctor, talking about the success rate, what is the success rate of hair transplantation?
Generally, what we see is if we transplant 100 grafts, around 90 to 95% survival rate is seen in so many clinical studies proven till date. So hair transplant is a relatively very successful procedure, and the popularity of this procedure has increased a lot in last few years because of the acceptance of the society. This procedure works very well, and the amount of procedure taken on the body is very less according to the result we get. So it's a transforming procedure. The look suddenly changes. So that's the beauty of the thing. Right. So we do have failures. It's not that any procedure which we do can have failures, but the failure rate is very, very, very less.
Right. Thank you, doctor. And doctor, in case if one is dissatisfied with the cosmetic outcome of their hair transplant surgery, then what are the options for such people?
If anybody is not satisfied with the procedure or he doesn't get a good result, we can do a redo procedure. In case he has good donor area on the scalp, or even we can use body hair for the redo procedure. We generally wait for 1 year before we do the redo procedure because this is the time frame in which the first transplant results can happen. If at 1 year we don't get the results, we can definitely go for a redo procedure.
Okay. And when can one sleep and wash their hair normally, doctor, after the procedure?
One can sleep the day on the procedure also. The only issue is he has to sleep a little upright so that the swelling is minimized. Plus we do bandages nowadays for 48 to 72 hours after the procedure. So that helps in having a good sleep. Otherwise, if you don't do a bandage, there is always chance of friction or rubbing accidentally with your hand or your head rubbing against your pillow or the bed sheet. So a dressing done for a couple of days avoids these problems and gives you a good sleep.
Right.
Sleep is not an issue.
And doctor, they can wash their hair when after the procedure?
Yeah, see, the washing of head is generally done 4 days after the procedure. So what we do, we call the patient back after 48 to 72 hours to remove the bandage. And on the next day of the removal of bandage, patient can do the hair wash himself. And he can do the shampooing and routine stuff from every day after that also.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. And doctor, what about the physical activities and swimming, etc.? Can all this be done? Can the patients enjoy all this after the surgery?
Yeah, definitely. Patient can resume his normal activities from the next day of the procedure. Vigorous physical activity to be done after 10 to 14 days. Even swimming can be done after 10 to 15 days. That's not a problem. The only precaution why we don't allow swimming in the first few days is because of the chemicals present in generally swimming pools like chlorine. So they can damage the new hair. So when these hair are settled, after then swimming, anything, no precautions. No lifestyle hindrances is there after hair transplant. One can do anything which he is doing before the procedure, after the procedure.
Right. Well, thank you so much, doctor. I'm sure it's a relief for so many people out there who are looking for a solution for their hair problems and hair fall. Doctor, finally, I'm sure the audience would like to know about the finance part of it, how economical it is for them to go for a hair transplant surgery.
In the last few years, the hair transplant has become comparatively very economical. The prices have reduced. Not only the prices, the number of grafts, the amount of work we can do in a single session has improved a lot. Nowadays, 80 to 90% of hair transplants, we can cover the whole scalp in a single session. Earlier, we used to do maybe 50% of our cases in a single session and 50% in 2 or 3 sessions. So not only the prices have reduced, also the results of transplantation and the amount of area coverage has increased a lot. But the exact cost varies from depending on the surgeon who is doing the procedure, plus the number of amount of grafts that have to be transplanted. But generally, it is not that much nowadays, and it's I would say economical and affordable.
Right. Well, thank you so much, doctor, for sharing so much information with us. Let's see if we have any audience questions. Well, I think you have answered so many questions of the audience, and considering the times that we are in with COVID, there has been so much hair loss that I've seen in patients. I'm sure a lot of them will be very happy and relieved to know about this. So thank you once again, doctor, for joining us. Indeed, a very insightful and informative talk. And thank you once again for your valuable time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. And well, with that, we have come to the end of our live session. We hope that you found it very informative, as we believe. And we'll see you again in our next live session. Until then, please look after yourselves and please do incorporate the tips that were shared by doctor today and get strong and healthy hair. This is your host, Deepti Diwan, signing off. Thank you so much.